Hey guys, this is Vikas here from Acviss Technologies. Welcome again to our series of webinars that we've been doing since the last few weeks. Today is a very important topic, and today we're going to discuss how fake domains can affect your brand. It's a common method. A lot of us scammers use to create a copy of a website, register a domain with a similar sounding name or a similar variation of an existing business, which could be yours, into fooling users and making them believing that it's actually your website or your brand they're actually communicating with, right? So this is definitely a major threat to a business, which we are yet to realize because a lot of us are still getting into the e-commerce domain or online domain recently, and only now we would realize that how important it is to protect your domain and be wary of the fact that your domain can also be abused by a lot of scammers or counterfeiters out there who are trying to make a quick buck. So, how it affects you. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering, why should I care so much about my domain? But then, understand this: scammers, once they get, if they're able to create a fake domain, or they're able to create a similar sounding domain, where as a user, I would definitely, who's logging in for the first time or maybe the second time, I'll not really know if it's your website or not. In this case, it becomes an easy method for scammers to get access to your customers, also to be able to sell them fake products, sell them products assuming it's your brand. But hey, it may not really be your product, right? It's definitely not your product when a counterfeiter is trying to create a fake website and try to sell something on it. Not just that, they also be able to get a lot of user credentials. Let's say if you have a website which requires a login, easy for scammers to get access to all the user credentials. A lot of scammers also distribute malware, and a lot of other suspicious activities go on these fake domain sites which scammers or counterfeiters create in your branding. So it's very important that as a brand we take care of not just our products but also our online presence and assets. What are the various ways in which scammers or counterfeiters can actually go about creating or actually abusing your domain name? One and easier and most prominent use method, like I said, was creating a lookalike website and selling fake products or selling products which do not belong to you as in the brand. And then the other way is cloning the site, exactly cloning the site. For example, the domain name could be slightly different. We've seen cases where things like verify, secure have been added. For example, things like Amazon-secure or Flipkart-secure, or even could be a bank website when a secure or verify is added to create a domain name. But then the site is made to look exactly like the website or the original brand. And when a user would go on a particular website or on a particular website which is cloned, a lot of us would get fooled into believing that it's actually the genuine original website of that particular brand, and then go about actually transacting and buying products or maybe entering your bank information. So that happens a lot. A lot of websites have been cloned and made to look exactly like the original website. The other way that we've seen that happens, similar sounding names, or for example, a lot of us end up, sometimes making typo errors. So instead of typing in eBay, sometimes we might type in something else, right? Or and that's where a lot of these scammers actually use that to their advantage, where they get they buy domain names which are similar sounding to a well-known domain and try and actually host a website or host something else, which would then go about scamming some of these users who end up on the wrong website. That's happened to a lot. It's happened to me multiple times as well. I'm sure it's happened to most of you as well quite a few times. And other thing we've seen scammers do is get access to the personal information, especially by doing all these mechanisms. For example, like I said, if it's a banking site, it's very likely and very easy for them to make it look like a bank site and get access to the user's credentials. Or it could be an e-commerce site, and wherein let's say a card information is stored, they could go about actually making transactions and bringing and buying a lot of products and getting it shipped to them. So we've seen that happen a lot. I think we are not new to this. What we've also seen is, people use fake and use abuse domains to launch ransomware attacks, or also even launch malicious attacks on various other websites, right? So, that's again making people believe that this is something coming from a genuine website, but then it's probably very much likely not to be the case, and hence we've seen abused domains very likely used by scammers to launch ransomware attacks, and like I said, also for malwares as well. We've also seen some domains being used for suspicious activities, like you know we've covered most of it, but then it could be even launching other sites, or activities in trying to get credentials, or trying to maybe launch spoof emails. So we've seen a lot of that happen from abuse domains which have been abused. One more method which a lot of scammers use the domain parking mechanism, wherein they generally would park a domain which is similar sounding to the original name. They would park it so that we would see a lot of ads on. You might have seen a lot of ads on these park domains, and this is just to get more traffic to that, and also be able to launch a lot of other malwares. A lot of other frauds can start from these park domains as well. All of this would eventually always result in destroying a brand's reputation, right? I mean, imagine if somebody's launched a fake domain, the user ends up thinking it's actually the genuine brand which they're interacting with, and then goes about buying their product, or giving out the credentials. So if a brand is not taking care of the domains that are online, it becomes a huge issue for the brand, because the brand's reputation is at stake, wherein the user is now, of course, blaming the brand for not taking the right action, or not taking the right precaution, or not warning the users in terms of action, these attacks that could happen. And not just that, imagine if a fake website is trying to sell fake products of yours. There's going to be huge loss of brand revenue and profits as well. So not just reputation, it also leads to loss in value, in profits and revenues as well. So just going to show some examples about how people have gone about creating abusing the various domains. You would have seen sometimes we end up typing two ends when you want to visit Amazon.com, and there's something which very much happens. And then there's an example how somebody spoofed the domain and were able to collect credentials as well. So these are examples of both which happened recently, and something which has happened a few some time back as well. But just wanted to highlight how people take advantage of uh, smaller errors or mistakes or typos that users do, or for example, or utilizing similar sounding domains, or similar sounding uh, domains, or similar spelled domains, to actually fool or misuse, or fool or take advantage of the users. This is one more example. The domain name is completely different, but if you look at the website, the app, it's exactly the same as what Flipkart looks like. So, and we've seen that quite a lot as well, wherein again the domain could be completely different, but then the site looks exactly the same. To a normal user who would not pay so much attention to the domain name, when he sees this, I'm sure they would probably think it's actually a genuine Flipkart website, and of course buy products on this as well. This is an example of, like I was saying earlier, using a well-known website like a bank website, and adding secure or verified to it, and actually creating a fake domain. So this is a fake domain of Wells Fargo Bank, wherein when anybody would enter the username and password, it would then obviously capture that username and password, which then could be misused to do a lot of things. Of course, I think your guess is as good as mine as to what would happen then. So this is another example of how domain squatting has been done. In this case, it's called combo squatting, wherein I use a combination of a well-known website and a well-known word like secure, verified, etc., to create a domain which anybody would trust. I'm sure if even if somebody would look at this, probably would think that it's actually a genuine Wells Fargo website or Wells Fargo page they are actually interacting with. Another example of Amazon, it kind of demonstrates again using Amazon and India and online to steal user credentials. And this was specifically targeting mobile users in India. And like you say, like we all know, specifically in India, the percentage of people using mobile is much higher than web. So, this was a case where mobile users were actually targeted, and all links in this site would redirect the users to the same product page. Excuse me, and then the payment page. So it was just to get money out of users, and eventually it would tarnish the brand image of the actual brand which the user is thinking of. It's interacting. Um, another example of how a combination of a well-known brand was used with a well-known website. So it was, if you look at the URL, the domain actually has Samsung, the word Samsung in it. So it kind of gives credibility from the fact that it's actually a Samsung website. But then what also we saw was it's a news website. Like looks like legitimate educational news website, right? Also has a valid SSL certificate if you see. So scammers can go a long way in making users believe that they're actually interacting with a genuine website. So what this meant to do was basically meant wanted people to buy in a lot of those fake antiviruses that you see, and popping out those fake messages which you see on the top right, saying your PC might be infected. So the intention of the scammer here was to get you to maybe buy a malware or even buy a product which is actually not going to do anything for you. So these are some of the examples, and I'm sure now you understood the breadth of how scammers can actually, what extent they can go in duping your users in believing they're actually interacting with a genuine website. And now that e-commerce is booming, we've seen a great increase in the percentage of buyers buying from e-commerce websites. It becomes even more paramount and very important that we protect our domains and our assets. So if you're a seller, or if you're a brand which has a good e-commerce presence, I think it's very important that you do focus on protecting your assets, especially your domain online as well. These are some of the examples of websites which have been most abused, and some of the registers where we've seen where most registers which are mostly used by scammers in registering fake domains as well, right? So what are the things we can do to prevent domain abuse, right? So I have one few pointers here, but the most important thing is being cognizant about the fact that this could happen irrespective of what kind of a brand you are. If you are a well-known brand out there, and if you are actually enabling transactions on your website, it's paramount that you protect yourself and your users going on your website. So one thing is, of course, making sure that when you're buying a domain, you want to ensure that you buy domains with multiple extensions and similar sounding names, because this is where a lot of scammers take advantage of the fact that if by changing a small character in your name, if they're able to get users to believe that it's actually your website. So it becomes important important that you're able to buy all these similar sounding domains, and buying all the various extensions as well. Very important thing is timely renewals of domains. We've seen people really, if you don't renew the domain, it kind of goes into a park state where somebody else is able to buy it, and then they take advantage of the fact that you are using it, and if it belongs to you, so they take advantage of the fact that, of course, they can do a lot of things which we spoke about earlier. What you can also do is evaluate your digital risk. Of course, have somebody manually monitor all the various websites, etc., wherein even the DNSs and the registrars, in ensuring that nobody is actually replicating your domain or trying to copy your assets or trying to replicate your website itself. So that's one way to do it. Other ways, we can always subscribe for any digital risk and brand protection solutions as well. There are ample solutions available right now, which help you ensure that your risk online, especially domain abuse, you can be protected against that. And of course, you can make sure that you focus on doing what you want to do, which is growing your business and leaving the protection of your brands and assets to experts who are actually helping out, actually been able to do that really well. Like I said, there are a good number of solutions available to do that, and we at Acviss also have our solution as well, which helps you understand any of your fake domains, etc., which could be out there, or helping you understand if there's any kind of domain abuse happening online. So, and we use a lot of machine learning and artificial intelligence to help you analyze these activities. We also help you understand if somebody has replicated your website itself. So we go to the length and breadth of the internet and help you identify if any kind of abuse around your brand or abuse around your domain is happening. The good thing about Acquis is, of course, we specialize not just in online but offline as well. So we are able to provide an end-to-end solution to help protect your brand reputation and help protect your brand in general. So we're going to now switch to a demo, and we're going to bring in my colleague Vishal here, who will quickly show you a demo of how fake domains work, how a module to protect fake domains work. Thank you. Over to you, Vishal.
Okay, thank you, Vika. So in a fake domain, first thing first is what we have to do is to understand how we are going to create a fake domain. Let's say if you want to create a fake domain and do some unusual activity, for example phishing, or some suspicious activity, or injecting malware, or any you can say a virus into the client system. So understanding of the problem can help you to understand how to prevent that. So this is where Truebiz exists, and it's going to prevent from the fake domain, and it's going to go through the entire possibilities of your domain, and going to give you a brief information about your related domain. I mean, possible domains that can be a threat for the brand. So some data points, it's going to fetch a lot of data points. So right now you can see in the screen, so there is a small summary page where you can see small information about the domain. So right now we have three domains added, which one is Nika, eBay, and Amazon. So as you can see, we have a lot of results scanned already. One is critical, some of them are really high, it's a threat, and some of them are medium threat, and some of them are low threat. Critical is something that you have to take an action as soon as possible. High, it's a little low, which is fine. I mean, once critical is done, then go ahead and check out all those high threats, and so on. So we go through all those data points. So I'll tell you like what kind of data points. For example, the first thing first, the domain is secure or not. Is it safe? Is it contains any malware, or is it adult site, or is it being parked or live, or maybe is it a phishing domain, or maybe spamming. I mean, domain name server is valid, or a lot of data points I can keep counting. And considering all those data points and all those AI and last 48 hours of activity, we can come up with the solution. Okay, this domain is actually a threat for the brand. So as you can see, we are displaying like overall results. From here you can select the asset that you want to protect. So I selected all, so you can see how many domains we scanned, and what's the summary overall scan that we have done, and how many of them are low, medium, high, and critical. You can see the graph here based on last week, last month, and overall. And the ratio of the threats, like high threats, 99% of the domains are actually a high threat for us. So we have to see, and we have to take an action against the high critical. And you can see the most of them are actually hosted in United States, then Ireland, and Germany. So this is the basic summary, and in the future we're going to keep adding a lot of analytics, and it keep coming soon. Other than this, let's say if you want to protect your brand, you have to just click on it if you want to get more details related to that. As you can see, there's one critical threat, and that is related to Nika, and which is looks like an adult site. So let's go to filter. You can select all. So you can see all the threads that we have found. Let's go ahead and switch to Nika first. As you can see, a lot of one critical, a lot of high threats, and a lot of domains that look similar and can be used as a phishing domain are there. And you can switch back and forth and see how many domains are there. You can see many of them are actually live. These are low threat, but you can see the domain looks similar to Nika, and maybe they can use it for in the future for phishing or some suspicious activities. So not just this, even some of them are actually, I mean, kind of parked. They have already purchased the domain, and it's now actually parked, or some of them are actually live with some dummy content. So this is how it is, and you can assign this as a task to any user into your dashboard, and they can take the respective action against that. So this is pretty much it. And over to you, Vikas. Please keep asking the questions. Do you have it?
Great. Thank you so much, Vishal. And I think it was a well done, very well done demo. I hope people are able to get a gist of how the tool works. Like Vishal mentioned, not just helping you understand what are various threats you would have on your domain, but also be able to take the right action as well. So this is one of the ways, of course, which in which you can, basically ensure that you can protect your domains and be able to take the rightful action and actually being able to bring these fake websites down as well. So that brings us to the end of our presentation. So, like I said, despite taking a lot of necessary precautions, you will always there could be a solution. There could be a way. You've seen really big brand names also have some fake domains out there and similar sounding domains as well, which they definitely need to take action against. So if you do come across similar sounding domain names, if you're able to use a tool, it can help you prevent these activities, which can help you protect your brand. I think it's definitely a right investment that can happen. Once you've done that, of course, either you can take advantage of the tool which can help you automatically bring down these websites, or definitely we can always reach out to filing a complaint with UDRP, or filing the complaint with the respectful authorities as well. There is a ICANN, which basically controls the domains, or which basically makes sure that oversees the domain assignments and various other activities. You can always reach out to them and send out a notice against the other domain which is actually trying to replicate you. So there are definitely ways out there wherein you can take advantage of the system and protect yourself, which wherein definitely we be able to showcase that the fact that this trademark and copyright belongs to you. That's one way to do it. And like I said, of course, there are a lot of tools, and TrueWiz is one of them, wherein you can actually take advantage of the fact that not just identifying fake domains, but also being able to take the rightful action against them as well. So that brings basically us to the end of this webinar. Thank you so much for joining in. We'll stay back for a couple of minutes for a few more questions if you do have them. So that's it from us. Thank you so much. And if you do have your questions, feel free to let us know. Uh, Kishore, we may need your help in sharing those questions to us. I think because we are live on multiple medium. So we have one question here. I think fake domain also affects brands' overall reputation. That, in short, has a big effect in the sales. So it's very important to stop this. Okay. Thank you so much, Anupam. I think you correctly mentioned what hit the nail on the head. Basically, when it comes to brand reputation, so it's very important that brands do take care of ensuring that their assets, especially their website and their domain name, which is actually a very important asset right now. We've heard of cases where people have paid $1 million in buying the right domain name, right? So a domain name is a very important asset, and it's very important that you protect the domain and the website as well. Thank you, Anupam. Thanks, Abhi. Nice and informative session. Thank you. Yeah, I hope it was useful, and there's a lot for everybody to take back and figure out how you can actually protect your assets. And also, not just that. I think a lot of us don't even realize that fake domains could be such a big issue, but they are, and domain abuse is actually going to only increase now. The fact that access to information, access to registering domains, websites have become easier. So it becomes very important that we protect our assets, like I've been telling quite a few times. Shiv, if I have a company with over 30 plus products, and for each I have a brand and domain, how would it become commercially viable to accommodate? Thanks, Shiv. Very nice question. Like I said, in Truvis, I think this question is specific to Truvis. So in Truvis, you can definitely add multiple domains in our tool. Not just one. You can basically enter multiple domains which belong to you, and you'll be able to basically get insights into all the domains. So our solution will help you add as many domains you need to add, and you'll be able to protect all of them, all of these domains as well. Thanks, Shiv. I hope that answered your question. Great. I think thank you so much. Thanks for your question. Just to end with a couple of pointers, if you come across any fake websites, always report them to Google as well, because I think Google is an important intermediary when it comes to protecting, users ending up on fake websites. So it's very important that if you're able to report it to Google, it doesn't come in the search term. Because it probably might, and once you report it to Google, it takes around 1 to 7 days to actually take some action. So first simplest step we can all do collectively is report any fake websites which we come across as individuals, and be able to at least report it to Google, so that it doesn't even end up in the search results, which is probably the you know uh, which is one of the highest used ways in which user actually gets information, or actually reaches out to the website or the domain they're trying to get to, right? So at least this is something which you can do. So that's a message I wanted to end a call with. If you want to reach out to us and get to know a little bit more about Truvis and a product, you can always reach out to us on the link shown here on the slide. It's okay. Sorry, my slides are not visible, but yeah, I can read it out to you. It's meters.acviss.com. It's meetus.acviss.com. Yeah, it's here on the screen now. So yeah, do reach out to us if you would like to know more about the product, and if you want to reach out to me, this is my email address. So again, thank you so much for joining in, and until next time, have a great day. Bye bye.